That's what that looks like. That looks like you're a great singer, right? But if you actually want to win the Grammy, if you actually want the record deal, if you will, then that means what? That means that maybe you have to change the style of how you sing, right? That means that maybe you have to change how many runs you do. And if you're not willing to evolve, if you're not willing to elevate in your thinking or in your training concerning that, then guess what? You will limit how far you can go. You will limit how far you can go. What does that look like if you are a preacher? It looks like, well, you may have to, work on broadening your message. That means that you need to become more educated, if you will. It means that you're probably going to have to, look at the news more. And the example that I said earlier today, I'll say it again, that when I was 18 years old, the kind of messages that I preached when I was 18 was impressive because I was 18. But now that I'm 40, the kind of messages that I preach when I'm 40 requires that I have substance. It requires that I have some depth to me, right? It requires that I elevate. It requires that I grow. And so where you would applaud me when I was 18, you will not be impressed with when I'm 40. That's what this looks like. Okay? Now, with that being said, let me help you guys. Christ pushed his team every chance he got. Every chance he got. I believe that in this season, let me say it a different way. You should detest average in this season. Detest it. You should just flat out, you can't stand it. Average, complacency is your biggest enemy right through here. And everyone that is attached to you, it ought to vex your spirit when you see them being average, when you see them being normal, when you see them being regular, when you see them not living up to their full potential. It ought to make you mad. So I want you to write in the comment section, I will not be average. And then I want you to write in the comment section, and no one around me can be average. Write in the comment section, I will not be average. And write in the comment section, and no one around me can be average either. You ought to detest it. So you ought to push your team every chance that you get. Now, this means that if you're a good leader, you're going to hit some frustrating seasons because everybody doesn't want to go, everybody doesn't want to grow. But that doesn't mean that you are to thumb down your expectations to fit people who do not want to evolve. Because for 10 people that don't want to evolve, there's one person that will. For 20 people that don't want to evolve, there's 2 people that will. Out of literally 120 disciples, there were only 12 that followed. And out of those 12, it was really only 3 that really did something significant. And out of that 3, it really was 1, which was Peter. Right? So you do not bring down your expectations, because there's somebody who doesn't see it robbery that you are trying to get them to elevate out of where they came from. There's somebody who doesn't see it robbery that you're on their head about how they can do it better. There is someone who doesn't see it as robbery that you are disciplining them so that they won't repeat the same mistakes. There's someone who would appreciate how it is you're trying to break generational curses. So you do it for that one. You do it for those two. If I literally listen to all the people who criticize me for how hard I am on them, then I would miss the few people who have actually benefited because I am a type of a leader that always expects more from you. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but whoever is watching, and honestly, this must be a key thing to like where we're going, because the enemy is really busy and probably busy in your life and trying to distract you. So you got to lock in when I say this, is that somewhere in this, the enemy is trying to make you as a leader of your friend circle or a leader of your family. Somewhere in this, the enemy is trying to dilute that. And what this lesson is hopefully bringing out to you is that I have to keep expecting more from people that are around me. Let those who don't want to be great, let them leave. Those who don't want to do nothing with their life, let them fall off. Those who don't want to go higher, those that don't think that they can do better, let them be mad. But I got to continue to be that person that expects more, because there's going to be one person, two people, three people that are going to glean from this, and they are going to go forth and do great things. All right? So Jesus Christ did it. And you got to expect fall off. When a lot of times people just want to be around you because some people just like being around you because they just like being around. They don't really want to add nothing to the table. And so how you get rid of that is that you start laying out like expectations. Like, I expect you to be great. I expect you to be a man now. I expect you to grow. I expect you to be educated. I actually want you to do better. I actually want this to be the last wife you marry. I actually want this to be the last time you get pregnant by the third baby daddy. When you start expecting more and elevating people's thinking, they got two choices: either to elevate or leave. And I need to help you, because John chapter 6 and verse 66 and 67 shows you what most people's response will be when it's time to elevate the thinking. It says this: Jesus told them, he was like, no more do you get to eat fish and bread from me. If you're going to be around me, you got to be around me for the spiritual stuff. And the whole crowd, the text says, walked away. As a matter of fact, the text really says